Hi everyone, this is Sarah. I wasn't feeling incredibly camera ready this month, but I wanted to get this update recorded so that you can learn what's going on with the books that I write as Sara Marks. I have three updates for you this month. First, I am working on Camp National Novel Writing Month. This is one of the three National Novel Writing Month events every year. The most infamous being the November 50,000 words goal. But in April and July, we do two additional events. This time the goal is a little more flexible. I like to try to complete both of them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's really up in the air. This year, I am positioned to be successful in April, at least, because I am working on Harshug. That is Harshug. This is the third book in the Frozen Wasteland series. If you've been paying attention to some of the videos on my YouTube channel, you know I've done a lot of work getting ready for the writing of this book, a lot of journaling, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of character development. This is the third in the series. This is much more of a direct sequel to Bribery, the anti-MLM one. It's going to be about the coaching guru sphere where people try to position themselves as experts on something that they can teach you, but really it's just a scam for them to make money and to do very little work. It's the passive income gurus, the financial gurus, the marketing gurus, the health gurus, all of that. It's going to lead to something bigger. This is it's going to connect Crowlack, the first book in the series, a little bit better. You're going to find out what was going on, where that actually was, and how it connects to Bribery. All of this is coming together. I'm about 18,000 words in, and I don't really have an endpoint. Usually I know where things end and I know where the series ends, but I'm not entirely positive where this book will end. And I suspect that as much as writing as I get done, a huge chunk of it might end up in book 4, but that's another story for another day. So I'm writing every day that I am able to write, which is what you are seeing here, me able to write one day over the weekend. I do as much writing as I can. I get all the ideas down that I've had in some form. And then I take a break and then I take the dog for a walk and I think about what I want to have happen next, because I have to both deal with the big things going on behind the scenes. Like I need to start introducing that for readers because you will want to have seen it develop. There's a community, it could be a cult, it's very difficult to say, but they don't think of themselves as a cult, that's for sure. Then there's Patty, who survived Bribery, and her positioning as this coach slash guru and how she's making it work. We need to figure out what's going on Crowlack, because there were only hints of it in Bribery. It was a lot more direct in Crowlack. We need to catch up. We need to catch up with those who were sacrificed in the last book, what it means for them to be there, the games being played between themselves, how quickly they get sacrificed, why Crowlack might let them stay alive a little longer. Some of these things are hinted at. But also, in my favorite game, what does this emotion taste like? There's hints that Patty's ambition tastes like peppermint, like a fresh pepperminty, but then what would ambition taste like? The not just the ambition, but the greed of ambition. What would that taste like? Because that's not going to have a fun taste for Crowlack. So there's a lot of that work going on. So I think about that, and then the next time I write everything I thought about. So that's where I am, and here I am going into a 3-day weekend. I'm writing this in Massachusetts. We have the holiday Patriots Day every April. This is infamously the day of the Boston Marathon, and thus the Boston Marathon bombing. The biggest tragedy to ever happen on a race. Oh, that was, but anyway, so this is infamously a day. We have always gotten this day off, regardless of the tragedy. This is because this is the marathon day throughout the Boston area. The state just shuts down. So the rest of us, especially state employees, get it off. It's also the start of like school vacation, which means that parents are typically off school, kids are out of school. So it's a big day, which means a 3-day weekend for me, and thus 3 days of being able to write. And I have to write about 18,000 words to catch up with where I should be and where I want to be. So it's like almost 5,000 words a day. It will be a very big weekend if I can do the writing that I want to do, but I have my system. So that's that. Next on my list of updates, because that took 5 minutes, audiobooks. Okay, so New Devil, totally in development. Gonna Hawking, who is my narrator, she did Bribery. She's gonna come back for New Devil. I hope she'll also want to come back for Harshug. Bribery and Crowlack are on Amazon and Audible for you to buy. New Devil, we'll get there. There will be some content on YouTube, but I'm not quite sure how much and what format it'll be. I don't think all of it will be, it's complicated. I have to make some decisions. But there will be a version of New Devil on YouTube to watch for free, and then this amazing voice narration will be for sale. It will not be on Audible. That is the key here. We are not using Audible anymore. I will be using other platforms. We will get into what those platforms are in just a moment, but there won't be an Audible Amazon version. And if that is how you get audiobooks, I completely understand. You will be able to upload this to Audible to listen to as your player, as I understand it, but you cannot buy it through Audible with your credits. Amazon's a problem, people. I know you like to buy through it. I certainly do myself, but it's a problem. It's got a monopoly, nearly a monopoly on some things, and they're treating authors like shit because of it. So there's that. The #RescueMe audiobooks are almost all the individual stories. I've almost finished it, which means at the end of this, I will create one big AI audiobook of all the stories in the volume so that you can buy that and listen to that. That will remain AI because it's not really the thing that's worth putting money into. The actual books, the full-length books are. What I am considering, and this is just a heads up, I am considering pulling Crowlack and Bribery out of Audible. It might not be for this year, but it might be happening because there is an exclusivity contract with them. I need to weigh my options and how much I can afford to pay to buy out and thus remove the books from Audible. So that is coming. If you want a free code for those, I'm happy to give them out so that you can grab them now. Last, Kobo. Kobo Plus is a big game changer for some of this content. They have now offered this Kobo Plus. Kobo is the old Borders platform that was bought out by Rakuten, who is a big international distributor of books, especially ebooks, and they adopted the Kobo platform. It has been a huge way to get books to an international audience. They have their own subscription service like Kindle Unlimited, and it is Kobo Plus. And originally that was, while not exclusive the way Amazon's Kindle Unlimited is. In other words, if I do Kindle Unlimited, my ebooks could not be available anywhere else. Kobo doesn't care. Kobo wants you to include it in Kobo Plus and be able to sell it outside of the Kobo platform, which means I can still sell it on Amazon. I can get it up in Nook. I can get it available in other ebook stores that I wouldn't be able to get it into, like libraries, by including it in Kindle Unlimited. I hope some of you are considering Kobo. Oh, Cedric's going to have a meltdown. I think something's being delivered. I wish you could see it. He just sat up and started growling. So I'm going to be adding the Frozen Wasteland books and Help Wanted New Devil into Kobo next month so that they can be included in the Kobo Plus subscription. Here's the big change that relates to the audiobooks. I mentioned so they are allowing people to sell their AI narrated audiobooks through Kobo also, which means Help Wanted New Devil and hashtag Rescue Me and Harshug in the future will all be included on Kobo Plus. Hashtag Rescue Me will be the AI version because there's not going to be a human version, but Help Wanted New Devil will be the human version. Harshug, I don't know yet. Gona and I have a really great relationship. I love working with her. I can afford her at this point in time. I don't know if that will change because she might, who knows how popular she'll get from doing audiobook narrations, but I would very much love to have her do the Harshug one if it can be arranged when this comes out. Last, very, very last thing. If you've made it this far into the video, the 11-minute mark, what is going to happen to Harshug? So this is not a secret. I've sort of hinted around this. There will be a 1-year exclusive access Patreon for Harshug. This is why I've been giving away Crowlac for free. I'm going to make Bribery as cheap as I can get it in the hopes that you will start reading them. And more people who see this or are on my mailing list or interact with the book in the world will read them without a problem, so that when this Patreon begins in the fall, you will be primed and ready. You will understand what has already happened. It will start with a read through and discussion of those chapters, of those books, so that everybody who participates will knows what's going on ahead of time. But there will probably be, depending on how much I create for this book, how many chapters, how many, what I'm also calling the shorts, the stories that, if you read Crowlac or Bribery, you know there's sort of like the connectivity tissues. In Crowlac, it was the Townie Times blog. In Bribery, it was Faye's research notes. This time it's going to be transcripts from a YouTube channel that's covering what's going on. So these things sort of connect all the chapter stories together, and it really just depends on how much of that is created. If I have like 12 items, it's one thing gets posted a month. If I have 24, we get 2 things a month. That will be what gets shared over the course of the exclusivity period, which will be this advanced exclusive access. I'm doing this with my romance stuff. It's about a year's worth of content. I'm hoping this will be the case for the fantasy and horror stuff, because I suspect we'll bounce between the Frozen Wasteland and the Enduring series, which might be confusing. I might need to break it out into 2 totally different Patreons, which means 3 Patreons for me to manage on top of writing. But there will be additional content. A lot of what I am experimenting with on the romance will trickle down into this fantasy, dark fantasy, horror Patreon platform too. So things like the stupid haikus, bonus content, drafts, things like that will get shared. And then people will have a say in what gets added into the future of this. This might be a pre-edited version of the book that I'll be sharing. It depends on what my editor and I are able to produce and how quickly I'm able to get things done. But there will be a final ebook version for certain levels and a paperback version for certain levels, depending on how much you're pledging each month. So keep an eye out for the Patreon. I hope you'll join. Just as a way to get this book out there in a different way, because vellum is really not an option. I would love to do Kindle vellum, but just it's not going to work for the current things I'm working on because of the way I write. So that's it. I'm going to stop talking here and let you watch the rest of this video as ASMR. So there will be a sharp increase in the audio of me typing and no more Sarah talking. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you again in May.